All right. Are we on YouTube?
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call to order the August 18th, 2025 City of Charleston Committee of Real Estate to order. Can I get things started with Council Member Greg, please leading us in an invocation?
Quick moment of silence, please. Thank you.
First item up for approval is approval of the July 14th, 2025 meeting minutes. Can I entertain a
Move for
motion?
approval.
Second.
All right, moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. First item up is an approval to quitclaim less than a tenth of an acre of surplus right-of-way over on Helmsman Street. And this is a city-owned property. Can I entertain a motion to get this on the floor and we'll get a
Move for
little.
approval.
All right. Can I get a second?
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Ms. Copeland, I see you turned on your screen.
Yeah, this is Magalie's item, but she's having trouble getting on, so I'll go ahead and cover this for her. Initially, the developer had dedicated this section for right-of-way purposes to accommodate some parallel parking spaces. They were originally going to construct some multifamily. Now they're down to townhomes, and they've asked that we dedicate this back to them so they can use this property to install 3 driveways for entrances to these townhouses.
All right. Sounds pretty straightforward. Any comments or questions from the committee? Hearing none, all in favor of the quitclaim deed, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. Next item up is an approval for the mayor to execute a title for real estate to a portion of Riverland Drive over to Charleston County for some planned roadway improvements. This is a city-owned property as well. Can I entertain a motion on this one?
Move for approval.
Okay, moved and can I get moved and properly seconded? Who from staff is here to talk about this? Is this the Riverland and Maybank intersection or something different?
Something different.
Okay.
Melina, do you want me to cover this one or you want to cover this one? Oh, there you are.
Sorry, I'm happy to cover it. This request comes from the county in relation to roadway improvements that they're doing on Riverland Drive. This is actually right in front of the senior center that we have over there in James Island, and they are requesting about 2,700 square foot to make these roadway improvements. It does not interfere with our access or our use of the property at all. And they have done a fair market value appraisal of the property, which came in at approximately, I want to say, $23,700, which they've offered to pay to the city in exchange for the conveyance of this area. Happy to answer any questions.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Dinwiddie. Any comments or questions from this committee? All right, all in favor of this city to county land deal, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. All right, next item up is an authorization for the mayor to execute an amendment to a lease over at Freddie Whaley Park for an additional 5 years for an unbeatable $1 a year price. And this is property owned by Dominion Energy. Can I entertain a motion on this one?
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, moved and properly seconded. Who do we have from staff to give us a little background on this one?
No major updates on this one. You guys have actually approved this prior to, after the approval from council. Dominion actually sent over an entirely new version of the lease. The terms are the same. It's just a more modern lease. So I just wanted to get this on the record through council so we have the correct one in the future.
Got it.
Terms are the same, however.
Yeah, it sounds like a no-brainer here. Any comments or questions from the committee? All right, hearing none, all in favor of the new lease version, but the same terms that we previously approved for Freddie Whaley Park, please signify support by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. Next item up is approval for the use of Festival Hall for the Moja Arts Festival, October 10th to 11th, 2025. This is
Move
over
for
at
approval.
Second.
Second.
Okay, moved and properly seconded. I think this is pretty straightforward. We might even be able to cut staff a little break here. Does anybody need to hear staff report on this one? Or are y'all ready to vote?
Ready to vote.
Let's do it. All in favor of the approval for the use of Festival Hall for Moja, please signify support by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. Moving right along.
And just 1 second, Mr. Chair. Councilman Ware just texted me. It sounds like he may be on the phone trying to get in.
Okay, thank you.
Got it. I think he'd want us to keep rolling. All right. Next item up is authorization for the mayor to execute a sixth amendment to an option to lease with Lowline Housing LP. Can I entertain a motion to go ahead and get this on the floor?
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
All right, moved and properly seconded. Ms. Dinwiddie, are you going to handle this one?
Yes, sir. This is a request to extend this option to lease through the end of this year, December 31st, 2025. This option to lease was entered with the developer, I believe, in 2021. It has been extended a couple of times. The site, this has to do with the development of 55 affordable housing rental units. The project is involving a combination of city-owned property, Charleston Housing Authority-owned property, and DOT-owned property, which the city leases. As a requirement to receive the HUD funding, the developer is required to enter into an agreement or show that an agreement has been entered into with DES to address environmental concerns. And this is something that the city is going to be required to do on the DOT leased property, as well as the Charleston Housing Authority property. We are working on that right now with Charleston Housing Authority. We do have Gianna on who can answer any questions about the project, as well as Andrew Wirtz, our environmental consultant, and attorney Sean Flug, who is our environmental attorney, if there are any questions on that in that regard.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much for that presentation. Any comments or questions from the committee? I would just note that it's unfortunate, we enter into an agreement for affordable housing using city-owned property in 2021, and here we are in 2025, and things just take way too long. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not pointing the finger at any particular purpose. I mean, I
In
know
a few places you could point fingers, but yeah.
I'm gonna maybe chill on that, but I'm happy we can turn this into a Festivus airing of grievances. But it's just I just think it's just incumbent upon us to just be mindful. We've just got to do whatever we can in our lane to make things easier for people to bring housing out of the ground, particularly when it's our project. I mean, this isn't even a private developer trying to do housing, affordable housing. So we just gotta be better at all levels.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just
Sure.
Gianna or Mr. Johnson, the hang up is, I mean, there's HUD, but is it more environmental issues or concerns? So it's DES versus
And I'll let
Okay.
Sean explain all of the intricacies of it, Mayor, but essentially, yes, we have to go essentially put 2 to 3 processes in place to address what is called an environmental assessment. It's not quite as simple as an environmental review, which we typically do on these properties, but it did require submissions to DES for both housing authority property as well as state DOT property. So it was a multi-pronged process and it took much longer than anticipated. Sean, did you want to append to that in any way?
Sure. Excuse me. Good afternoon, Mayor, staff, and council members. The environmental concerns on this property, these various parcels, have been there a good bit. And Andrew, if you'd like to jump in, go ahead. Much of it stemmed from the former rail line that was contiguous to some of these properties. And with those properties, there were former arsenic contamination and creosote contamination. And I think on the DOT properties and maybe even a portion of the housing authority properties, there were some former automobile uses that resulted in sort of like contamination from repairing vehicles. And so that's kind of historically been the issue on these properties. And the VCC program, NRP VCC program, really helps to rejuvenate underutilized properties and take away the liabilities, environmental liabilities that exist on these properties. And initially, when we put a VCC in place, we started with the Lone Line project and the rail line. And then we morphed into putting a VCC in place for the housing authority site. And that particular site took longer than expected. And Andrew, if you can briefly describe sort of the extra environmental work we had to do there. We had to do a removal process, meaning that we had to remove soil that was contaminated, backfill it with clean soil. And that was sort of the first step in putting a VCC in place. So initially it was a portion of the Lowline project, and then it was the housing authority's site. And since that time, we've added other parcels. Now we're doing the SCDOT site, and now we're doing the housing authority site. And I've been putting this.
But those, Mr. Fluke, those are not what's causing this delay. It's basically the original VCC and getting final sign off from DES. Is that accurate? I'm just trying to zero on this specific site. Or are we adding to the delay by adding more and more under the VCC?
We are not adding to the delay based on adding more VCCs. I believe the other two sites are finished, and we are adding the SCDOT site now, and we are adding the housing authority site now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, we don't need to belabor this, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted the group to know that there are a lot of different parts to this. It's not just funding as it usually is, but also things that and processes and procedures, particularly as it relates to going through the state, that maybe we can take a look at to help try and expedite things like this in the future. That was my only point I wanted to make.
No, absolutely. I fully co-sign that. I think it's just always important to keep our eye on the ball of all these different regulations and ways that they can create impediments. Because I know that they initially had some issues with BAR. And that was something we worked on. That was us. But we're working on that. And that's, there's things we can control in-house. There's things that, we need to ask our friends at the state to help us out with. But we just need to eliminate as much friction as possible, because it shouldn't take 4 or 5 years. We haven't even factored in the construction. So it's probably going to be 7-8 years at best before 55 units of affordable housing come online. Like, it's just we got to be better than that at all levels. But let's control what we can control now, which is this 6th Amendment. Let's give our friends at Lowline Housing some additional time to navigate this and keep moving towards the goal. Any further comments or discussion? All right, all in favor?
Councilman Waring, I'm on the phone. I somehow couldn't breakthrough.
Oh, man. Well, it's
but
glad-
anyway,
we're happy to have you.
But thanks for bringing up that discussion, though. I think you're right about it at that time, but anyway, I'm glad you brought that up as opposed to just moving along. We all needed the benefit of that discussion, so thank you.
No, I appreciate that. And now that I've got it out of my system, I won't raise it again all meeting. I promise you guys. All right, moving along. Or did we? I don't think we voted on. Let's
No.
vote for the Sixth Amendment. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. Next item up is approval of a lease of the City of Charleston property located at 2324 Birdie Garrett.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Got a motion to approve on the floor. Can I entertain a second?
Second.
All right. Moved and properly seconded. Ms. Shaw Johnson, is this yours?
Yes, sir. Chairman Appel and members of the committee, the city owns a home in the Rosemont neighborhood of the city of Charleston, and we rent this property out for a nominal fee for our clients who are being serviced under our rehab program. So the name that is referenced in the lease, Ms. Prelo, is having her home rehabilitated, but she cannot stay in her home because it would be dangerous. And so we essentially rent this house out to her for the length of the time that her home is being repaired. And so that is what is before you this afternoon. It's a 3-month term for $25 a month.
Move for approval. We moved it. Sorry.
All right. This seems pretty reasonable. Any comments or questions from the council? Hearing none, all in favor of the 3-month lease for Ms. Prelu, please signify support by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. And now we are on to our annexation portion of our meeting. And we have a lot of annexations on the agenda. In fact, this might be a record. Looks like the settlement over in West Ashley is finally coming on into the city of Charleston, which is exciting. We'll
Yeah.
get to
How
that.
about that?
It's Councilman Waring, it's like time is a flat circle or something, like they say, or something. Well, let's take them one at a time. The first item up is a property that's been before this committee a couple times. This is about 2.5 acres on Folly Road over on James Island. And I think we'll probably want to take this one separate from the others. So we'll go ahead and I'll ask if we can go ahead and entertain a motion to get this on the floor.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, moved and properly seconded. Now, I believe Mr. Keene was planning on attending to speak to this. Mayor, or maybe you were going to talk about it.
He's joining by phone, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Tim, do you want to get us started?
And you can press *6 to unmute yourself, Tim.
Thank you, Jennifer. Mr. Chair, can you hear me? This is Tim.
Loud and clear.
Good, thanks. Sorry, I could not join on Zoom for some reason. Councilmember Waring having a similar problem, I think. With regard to this, I just wanted to join you all. I know you've spoken about this a few times in the past. Just to confirm that we're recommending against this, and we really don't feel that this is in anyone's best interest at this point. It's property that's very low lying. The applicant is seeking to annex into the city and make it part, as you probably know, of a planned unit development. We're not supportive of that, so we'll continue to recommend against it. And the has been out stormwater. This is a very low lying piece of property. You know, there's the potential, you have enough patience and probably enough fill dirt and concrete that maybe at some point we could make this work. but it would be a lengthy and challenging effort to try to address stormwater on this property. So we're recommending against it, and really feel like, that we're so busy with things that if council ultimately votes to annex this property, we could dig into it at that time. But till that occurs, we'd really just like to proceed with this consideration by council, which, as I said, we're recommending against. Anyway, I'm here really to answer questions if there are any, just to reinforce this recommendation from us, the staff, regarding this annexation.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I made the motion to get it on the floor. But after hearing Mr. Keene speak, I'm going to vote against the measure.
Yeah. Thank you, Councilmember Waring. And Councilmember Bowden, did you want to be recognized?
Yeah, I guess, we've, I don't know, I've done this, 4 times now. But I guess the lingering question in my mind is, if we were to say no to this annexation, would they still be able to satisfy the stormwater requirements to build the commercial that they have a right to build already?
Well, Councilmember Bowden, that's a good question, and it's one that would have to be answered after quite a lengthy affair, looking at what they would propose to do and how they would propose to engineer it. What I would say to this is that, in the city today, what we have that's in the city today, as it is, as part of the plan unit development, we have, and we will deal with that fairly, and we'll provide the service that's needed to pursue what they can within the existing zoning. What we're being asked to do now is expand the footprint of this, to take in this property that would be annexed that's currently in the county. And by bringing it in the city, the net result would be, more density and more coverage on this property that's currently in the county. So to your question, could they, get approval for a stormwater system to handle what's already permitted on the site? We would have to pursue that with them and determine how best we could do that. What we don't want
Mr.
to
Keene,
do,
Mr. Keene, if I may, just for clarity, and I believe we would have to pursue that only if they annex, because right now it would be the county that would need to review these, not the city, if they do not.
Oh, that's right. That for the property that would be annexing, but they currently have property that's in the city that's commercially zoned and unbuilt upon. That's part of the PUD, and that's what I was speaking to. Is for what's in the city, and zoned commercially as part of the PUD, we would have to pursue that. But we currently don't, and as I said, what this is asking us to do is expand that footprint and increase the amount of coverage over what's currently in the city, and that's what we're recommending against.
Yeah.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, so there's 2 elements here. There's the request to bring in this one additional parcel that the developer owns next to other parcels that are undeveloped that he owns that are already in the city. But then there's a PD amendment that would add the residential density entitlements to allow them to go from commercial to the townhome plan, because they're no longer permitted to do that number of townhomes under their PUD, and they're asking for the additional land through this annexation to make the plan work. So it's there's an annexation component, and there's also a PD amendment component as well. Anybody else from the committee want to mention a few things? I've got a few comments, but I want to make sure everyone gets a chance to speak first. Councilmember Gregg?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. King, could you speak to, I mean, one of the things that I've heard is that, if we don't annex this in, then this will be a commercial development. And so there's some information out there that certainly from the folks in the Ocean Neighbors community and some of the other neighboring communities that they don't want this to become a commercial development. And I believe the applicant has said he's in his rights to develop this as a commercial parcel. Can you tell me so is that a possibility?
The existing PUD, council member, the existing plan unit development zoning that the applicant has on the property that's already within the city does permit commercial, limited commercial use within that part of the plan unit. That was made part of the zoning many years ago.
Okay.
And actually was an important part of the original zoning and made it mixed use. The plan unit development, that was the mixed use component of plan unit development, was a commercial portion, which as yet is unbuilt upon. So he can, but it would be subject to the limitations within the plan unit development. It doesn't mean he can just do anything. There's limitations within the commercial zoning that's part of the plan unit development that was determined when it was owned. And not only be commercial that would be permitted adjacent to residential, but that could be helpful residential. So it's not a commercial blank check. It's a commercial with limitations that were written into the original zoning.
Okay.
And the footprint of that area could be built upon. Now we're being asked to expand it as part of this annexation. And that's what we don't think would be a good move for the city.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I believe Mr. Morgan mentioned at one of the prior meetings that essentially the commercial entitlements here are like more consistent with like limited business zoning as opposed to general business zoning.
Correct.
So there's,
correct.
hours of operation limitations. They're going to need to comply with DRB since this is fronting, Folly Road and, addressing things like lighting and all these other kind of things that would be adverse impacts to surrounding residents. Like, so for example, in my district, when that refuel over by the country club got developed, man, those folks had to go and do all kinds of things to make sure that development looked great and also did not, or minimize the negative spillover effects to nearby residential areas. So it's not as though it's like carte blanche commercial entitlements here. There's a fair bit of, protections in place. So Councilmember Tinkler, did you want to say anything, or are you good on this one? Oh, yeah.
I think well, there is another parcel that is limited business aside from Mr. Cooper's parcels, correct? I think we've on that fronts the road. I think that my memory last time that was the case.
Let's see. I had the.
Are you talking about the properties that are in the county?
No, there's already a parcel that is limited business for my review last time.
Are you talking about the PUD that
It's in the PUD? Yeah, correct.
On Folly Road, or
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just pulling up the zoning map right now. Yeah, I mean that whole area that fronts Folly Road right there is zone PUD. It's got the PUD map designation. I'm sorry, in the city.
Didn't you send that to them?
But
and my memory is that even the proposed PUD wouldn't. I mean that would remain commercial.
Right.
But Well,
You know, Mr. Chairman,
sir.
I can't flag my hand, so sorry for butting in. But it's funny, you know, we just passed a settlement, and you know, for Mr. Mayor and new members of council, several years back, this may have been before COVID. It was before COVID. The developer wanted to bring that property into the city. In the county, I think it was zoned for about 46 units or 46 lots. Annexing into the city, he wanted, I think it was like 64 or 66 lots. And neighborhood came out, thought that was a little bit, it wasn't against the development, thought it was too many units. So we refused to annex the property. Well, no, he withdrew the application and said he would develop it in the county. The city was willing to do the 46 as was the county. And we said at the time, well, eventually when residents begin to occupy, it probably will annex into the city. And that's why Mr. Chairman kind of chuckled there, because this is kind of like a boomerang came back. Now the houses have been built, and I think they've got, 3 or 4 vacant lots. All the rest have been built upon with wonderful homes. And now the residents came in and said, you know what, we want to be a part of the city. So we just gave first reading to that. Now, I know this has some commercial involved with it, but sometimes, sometimes there's a little overreach, and was better for the surrounding areas. And after listening again, Mr. Keene, on that, you all may remember that people from the neighborhood also turned out on this one some while back. Maybe it was 3 months ago or something like that, but it wasn't. It was this year, I thought. So this one keep coming back, but it's a low-lying area, and flooding is a huge issue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Waring. And, for me, I mean, I just want to say to the developer, I know Mr. Cooper has done a lot of work on this. There's been a lot of time and energy and thought that he's put into this. But at the end of the day, this is a upzoning on Outer James Island on land designated as low-lying, flood-prone property. And we're being asked to put in entitlements for 38 townhomes. And I'd like to think that the city of Charleston is not one of these reflexive anti-development NIMBY jurisdictions that you may see around the state and around the country. We're very open-minded to development, but it's got to be in the right areas. And if there's anything we've learned, whether it be through the history with Church Creek and Councilman Bowden's district, or some of the old neighborhoods in West Ashley that Councilmember Waring and Councilmember Tinkler and I represent, is that you just can't develop in low-lying areas and expect there to be positive outcomes in the future. And this is just the wrong plan for the wrong property, unfortunately. And I just don't have a real strong appetite for, outer James Island, outer West Ashley, upzonings and low-lying areas. And so for that reason, I'm not going to be able to support the annexation or the PUD amendment. And I would encourage the developer to explore what is possible under the existing entitlements in a manner that'll be, positively received by the neighbors. But max out townhome development play on this parcel, I just don't think it's in the best interest of the community at this time. So, Councilmember Bowden, did you have anything else you wanted to add, or I see your hand is still up?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly add that, and this will echo a lot of what Chairman Appel just said, but, this is one of the harder decisions I feel like I've had to make on city council, because, Mr. Cooper has been, I think, trying to do this in a responsible way. I know that he's called me, and I understand that he's talked to the neighbors and everything, and at the end of the day, I'm making this decision based on what I would be doing if somebody brought this in outer West Ashley. And similar to what the chairman just said, I mean, we can't expect good results if we're not making the most responsible decisions on the front end. And I look back to what, the decisions that people were making, probably before I was born for where I live now. And my guess is, that they had, responsible folks coming and telling them that, we've got a great plan for this, and we think that, it'll work out in XYZ fashion, and it just hasn't. And so, it's an accumulation of those decisions that has led to, the city having to spend, God knows how many millions of dollars we've already spent in Church Creek, let alone the rest of the city. And so, that's ultimately that's where I come down on this. And I have to agree with the chairman, that I just can't support this in this fashion.
All right. Any further comments or questions from the committee? All right. I think Councilmember Waring withdrew his motion to approve.
No, I didn't withdraw the motion.
Oh,
I said I will vote against.
got it. Okay. All right. Any further comments or questions from the committee? Are we ready to vote? All in favor of the annexation?
Wait a minute.
Well, Randy, nobody has a right to present at these meetings and these annexations. I think we've been very clear. I mean, you've had a lot of time and opportunity on multiple meetings to explain what you're doing. I just don't think anybody on the committee wants 38 townhomes.
I like to make us, that's not.
Well, Randy, that's exactly what's happening. If you're not reading the room, I don't know what to tell you.
He's muted too.
Randy, we'll give you 2 minutes, but we're not letting you go for 30 minutes here. You can address the committee for 2 minutes if you'd like.
I don't think that's very fair. We spent 2 years working on this, and you've asked me to go back, hire different engineers. You asked us to do studies. We've done all that.
Randy, that's completely. I mean, if you want to air this out, I'm happy to air it out.
Yeah, I do want to air it out.
Okay. Well,
aren't we in a democracy? Everybody's given their opinion, and information and the opinions are not based on the correct facts.
Totally disagree with that. I appreciate your comments, but I think we're ready to vote. All in favor of the annexation, please signify support by saying aye.
Aye.
This is all in favor.
Oh, sorry.
All opposed to the annexation, please say nay.
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 Nay. All right. It appears to be unanimous. And
just for the record, Mr. Chairman, why don't we just call for a roll call vote?
Okay.
Chairman Appel?
Nay.
Mayor Cogswell?
Nay.
Councilmember Waring?
Nay.
Councilmember Tinkler?
Nay.
Councilmember Bowden?
Nay.
Councilmember Gregg?
Nay.
It's unanimous.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Moving on, it looks like we have a number of what I would describe as straightforward residential annexations. I would note that I believe the 22 annexations under subsection GV are all in that settlement neighborhood over in West Ashley, right next to Ashley Harbor.
You might
I'd
want
make a
to call
motion.
You might want to call it the district number on that one, Councilman.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it looks like I thought it was your district, but it looks like it's District 2, which is Councilmember Shealy's.
I thought it was 7. Shealy got me again, huh?
I make a motion to approve to take those together and approve.
Great.
Second.
All right, motion moved and properly seconded to approve the remaining annexations on our agenda. Any comments or questions? I've got a question. Ms. Connor, how did this come about? I'm just curious with settlement.
Work on her part.
Since I started my position, I've kind of been driving around the streets of West Ashley, looking on the map and seeing who's not in the city and why. And essentially, when I happened upon this, I was very confused about why would these properties not be in the city? It's completely surrounded on all sides. After talking with my colleagues, I understood kind of the history and the development stages, but we were able to ensure that we're going to be able to provide garbage service to these folks, which was one big question. And we were able to have conversations with each of these property owners. I was able to get to know them and feel very confident and comfortable moving forward with welcoming them into the city at this point.
Man, that's some serious annexation coordinator work right there, Molly. That is outstanding. To get 22 property owners in a single neighborhood in one fell swoop, that was the problem, Councilmember Ware, and we didn't have Molly in 2017. I think that's the issue.
I just had to graduate college. I'm here now. I'm here.
Great work.
Well, great. Any other comments or questions before we vote? All in favor, please signify support by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. Guys, that brings us to a conclusion of our real estate meeting. I appreciate everybody's time and attention, and remember the Zoom passcodes next go around. We're tightening up security around here.
Well, I do have a question, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman.
sir.
Madam Clerk, I actually tried to get on an email and I put the passcode in it.
Mr. Chairman, can we stop recording, or is the official meeting over?
Oh yeah, maybe we'll